What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
UFC 238 just happened this past Saturday from Chicago, headlined by Henry Cejudo versus Marlon Moraes. Co-headline Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Ai. Both were 5-round championship fights. Cejudo Moraes was for the bantamweight 135, the vacant 135 after TJ Dillashaw popped for EPO. And this is after Cejudo beat TJ, despite TJ cheating when he tried to go down to 125. My picks, I got 3 out of 5 right. I got Cejudo right, Shevchenko, which was a devastating head kick to Jessica Ai. It was pretty one-sided of an affair, but as soon as that head kick just flatlined her. It was crazy, the finish to that. I don't see. It's going to be interesting to see who will challenge Shevchenko. I don't know if let's see, was that Suarez? Was that for the strawweight? No, that's flyweight. I don't know who's gonna challenge her at that weight class because she's dominant, so dominant, and that's like the perfect weight class because when she was always too small at 135. Did she fight at 135? I don't know, but she looked great. Just killed Jessica Ai. Thankfully, Jessica didn't there's been a few knockouts recently where it's like, man, I hope that person gets back up. And then, of course, Henry Cejudo looked amazing. He started off not looking great, but made some adjustments and then got the finish in the 3rd round due to punches, TKO. It was just really fun to watch. Apparently, he went in injured, called out some big names, but not really. Faber's coming back. He called out Faber, Dominic Cruz, who's been injured and out for a long time, and then Cody Garbrandt, that's coming off of 3 knockouts. It's weird. He called out 3 of the quote-unquote biggest names in the division, but none of them deserve a title shot right away. It's I don't see any of them deserving a title shot right off the bat, especially after some of the performances that we saw. And he did the thing that Tyron Woodley did. He's like, I just want big fights. It's like, no, you be the king, you dressed up as a king when you did your stupid little his promotional cringe antics, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. I don't like it. It's like how Verdum just had a smile, like a shitty smile, and that was his thing, and for some reason people liked it. I guess if it works for you, do it. I'm personally don't give a shit about it. It's so fake and so just I don't know, man. I guess it could be his personality, in which case you need to focus on something else besides your personality, but whatever. He's beating everybody. I'm a fan of Cejudo. When he changed shit up and started doing that karate stance after I think it was after he lost to DJ the first time. And then he started doing that karate stance, which he didn't really work for him as much in this fight against Moraes, but he ended up winning it. It was a great win. I just want him to be like Max Holloway and be the king of your division. Don't worry about money fights. Money fights will come. But if you're the king of the division, when there's actual contenders, once you clear the division out, then you could start thinking about some interesting big name fights. Especially somebody that's not coming off of a long layoff or 2 devastating knockouts. Let's get somebody that deserves a little bit more deserving instead of just DC trying to get this Brock Lesnar fight. It's the motherfucker doesn't deserve a belt. Okay? When John Jones called him out, it wasn't for a belt. It was just for a fun super fight. It didn't make sense anyway. Doesn't matter. Shevchenko killed Jessica Ai. Tony Ferguson got the win against Cowboy. It was a fun fight until Cowboy blew his nose, and it was broken, and it puffed up his eye, and they had to stop the fight. But I don't know. I don't think Cowboy's going to get that belt run that he was. I think his run is over. I mean, it's such a stacked division. I don't know what's next for Cowboy. Maybe some super fights out there, some interesting fights because he is still a name. Tony Ferguson, undefeated, still looked great. Definitely looked healthier in this fight than he did in his last fight, despite winning all of them anyway. Peter Yan, looked great against Rivera, got the win. Tuivasa got pieced up. Didn't look that great for him, but it was a stacked card, man. Started off with Joanne Calderwood versus Caitlin Chukagian, the very first card of fight on the early prelims. I thought Calderwood won the first and third round. I thought it was a horrible decision. Somehow, one of the refs gave all 3 rounds to Caitlin, but she ended up getting the decision, which I don't know. I didn't really care for. Eddie Wineland got a really fun knockout. He came in guns a-blazing. Darren Stewart versus Bevan Lewis was a fun fight. Angela Hill versus, I don't know her first name, Jan. Jan looked great. Angela Hill, it's weird. She's not improving at the rate. Like, she's still really good. It's just like, it's not there. She just falls short. So it's, I mean, it's tough, I guess. It's tough in the women's strawweight division. Ricardo Lamas got beat by Cater. Grasso beat Kovacevic. Kovacevic is another one of those like Angela Hill where it's just like the fire's kind of gone, man. I just don't see him really getting far. Aljamain Sterling looked great against Munoz. And then Nina Ansaroff got destroyed by Suarez. Suarez looked great. Tons of wrestling, but I thought Nina Ansaroff did a lot. You know, she was able to get up. It was a good attempt, but Suarez's wrestling is just not the most entertaining thing, but it is super dominant. Like, her ability to control somebody on the ground is definitely going to be tough for people to deal with. But overall, it was a fun night of cards. I really wish the Cerrone versus Tony Ferguson fight went all 3 rounds, and would love to see a rematch of that somewhere in the future, although I don't see that happening anytime in the future unless, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who Tony's going to fight. I would love for him to fight Khabib. I think Khabib, if you got to look at Khabib's resume, I think he hasn't proven himself really against. I mean, Conor was probably his toughest test that he had, and he definitely handled that test. But other than that, he hasn't fought like the cream of the crop in the lightweight division. He was able to get to the belt very like strangely. Just, you know, so I think Tony can beat him. I wouldn't be surprised if Poirier can pull it out and beat Khabib. So Khabib may not even be champion for much longer. But Tony versus Khabib, I would love to see, and just so it can happen. Hopefully it can happen, but would love to see Tony fight any of the top, any of them. I mean, that whole division is amazing. So we'll see. But yeah, a lot of fun fights, shitty judging, but there were a bunch of decisions, mostly all unanimous decisions though. But still some crazy decisions. Anyway, there's no fights next week, so I'm not making any picks. And Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series doesn't start for another week as well. So, I mean, I'm not going to be. I might do an extra episode a week to talk about those cards because I love watching the Tuesday Night Contender Series. But yeah, that's it for UFC 238. New episodes of this show daily. Subscribe everywhere. InspiredDisorder.com for all of my work. Use coupon code INSPIRED for 10% off. At Ray Taylor for me. Have a great day. Peace out!